and we are always trying to find you the best of the best in the luxury motor coach industry. And today it is an honor to be here with Nelson Figueroa, president and founder of Millennium Luxury Coaches. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing awesome. I'm so glad that you're here. We have been off the radar a little bit. We have been busy building coaches.
Well, I've been a big fan of the Millennium product from the very first start of this YouTube channel. Some of my first videos were interviewing Millennium owners that were extremely happy with their Prevost Millennium coach, which was one of the first coaches that you built almost 25 years ago. How many Prevosts have you converted, and how long have you been in business?
I've been in business since September of 2000. Since then, we have built around 268 coaches.
268 coaches, and behind us we have the all-new 2025 Millennium on the 9660 shell, the new Prevost body style, and you guys are doing some really cool stuff that I haven't seen anybody else doing.
You know, we have to keep up with Prevost. This is their 100th year, so there's technology everywhere. We have to keep up with that. We call it the 9660. That was somewhat of a number to keep it kind of top secret. We call it the Renaissance, right? The Renaissance is a rebirth of something really great that was already existing.
So I'm really excited to take a deeper look at this coach today. Now, we did do another video talking about Nelson's history, how he got into the RV industry, the history of Millennium. We got to interview some of the different employees, talk about their histories. It's an incredible story. That's going to be a separate video. We'll get that in the description below as soon as that video is live. Definitely worth checking out. What's a quick glimpse of your background and how did you get into the industry?
You know, early on, my mother, my mentor, says, do whatever you want, and whatever you dream is not big enough, dream bigger. So I ended up joining the U.S. Army at 17, tricked them into signing me off to the U.S. Army. I landed at the best job that you can have in the U.S. Army Aviation, and from there I moved, throughout the U.S. Army, finished my career with the Special Operations Aviation Unit, doing GPS and FLIR, systems, and learning from the civilian people that just knew everything about everything, right? Before GPS was even available in cars. That brought me to airplanes when I got out. So I was in aviation, in fixed wings. And then I ended up in this building, actually. Right here, we had a 70-foot boat that I was building at one point. And then I started my own business doing controls. After that, I came back and I got a job building buses. And here we are.
Yeah, you've got an incredible story, and I'm really looking forward to sharing that in that other video. But now your background is you're an electronics engineer, not an electrical engineer?
Not electrical. There was one night I remember, after working like 12 hours at the airport, I came and I failed Calculus 4 or something. And I put my pencil down and I said, I'm not going to be an engineer, I'm going to hire one. That's going to be my dream, right? I got to dream bigger. And so I'm an electronics engineer, right? So I'm more about controls and digital engineering, right? Which really translates to what we're doing today.
You talk about your aviation and marine background. I think that helps explain a lot of the reasons why you do things the way you do in this coach.
Yep.
And just spending the time here today, I've learned a lot already. And I think the folks are going to be really impressed with this coach.
Thank you.
I really like what you did with the exterior paint, bringing the paint into the vinyl back here. How long has Millennium been doing the perforated vinyl?
Our first coach was delivered in 2001. We actually painted through the windows on a perforated film. That coach still out on the road today with the same film, right? You can see in a little bit at night when the lights are on, you can see out. But what it does, if you look at this beautiful coach, that's canvas. That is a piece of canvas, a big clear canvas. We don't want a big black hole in the middle of our painting. And that's what we were trying to evade.
Well, you've been doing that for a long time, it's really a timeless style and design. Now, in the new 9660 shell, I know you had to make a lot of changes to keep up with the new platform. What are some of the new things Millennium has done with the new shell?
We had to go, from the outside in. So anywhere from the awnings to awning caps, to the lighting systems, to battery setup, to the way that the bays are laid out, the way that we finish the bays, we had to rethink everything, right? So the first coach really took us a long time because literally we had to do some things sometimes 3 times. And we're not gonna give up. You told me earlier, if this was easy, everyone would be doing it. You said that.
Absolutely.
Right, so I believe that, right? So we took the hit and we went back on that first one and we'd say, okay, we can do this better. No, we don't like that. Okay, Mr. Customer, we are gonna redo this. It's gonna take us longer. And they were grateful, they were happy that we were taking that time on that first one. The first one came out perfect. I didn't want to have to make excuses. Oh, that was my first one. I want my first one to be my best one. After that, it's on me.
Absolutely. And how many of the new body style Prevost have you converted so far?
Right now, we have 8 on the road. This is going to be our 9th, and we have 3 more ready to be delivered next month.
And I've been beating you up about your social media. I think you guys are so busy and so passionate about building these coaches that you don't always remember to take photos and videos and get them on social media, but I'm trying to twist your arm to post some more stuff here.
So Andrew, here's the thing. You can only be good at one thing, right? We're good at building. We're good at servicing. We're good at being here. You're good at what you're doing right now, right? That's why you're here. Because we want you to tell the world and your viewers who we are and what we're all about.
Well, I really appreciate the opportunity, and I'm very selective at who I'm even willing to work with, but the Prevost Millenniums that I've put my hands on, even 5, 10 years old, even I think over 20 years old, my good friends Court and Heather from Midlife Prevost are still running around in that 03 double slide Millennium. They love that coach, making all kinds of great memories in it. What is it about the Millenniums that they hold up really well?
The construction is one. The servicing is the second one. So from the beginning, we start with the platform that is indestructible. This Prevost chassis is a 1,000,000-mile chassis. So you cannot beat that. Inside, it's up to us. So now we're gonna use, not composite materials, but we're gonna use real wood, hard rock countertops. It's what's really keeping those coaches rolling.
Yeah, I've got a lot of questions I want to ask you today, and I think we're going to go really in depth on the interior of this coach. But do you think we could take a look around the bays and the exterior of this coach?
I would love to show you. I got to tell you about my customers, right?
Yes, sir.
Our customers are our best engineers, right? So everybody comes with an idea. And now these people, when I say these people, our customers, right? They come in, they're RVers, some are not. They got ideas. In their mind, they're engineers. If you look at these rubber lights, that came from one of our customers.
I love it. Kudos to the customer that pushed Nelson on this.
And that was a push. He says, I will not buy it unless you do that. So guess what? It was a necessity right there. We had to come up with something.
I don't know, if we had to name those lights, I think that customer deserves those lights to be named after them.
The problem is that he's going to want a royalty.
Yes, sir, I respect that.
He deserves a ton of credit for that, because he pushed me to think outside of the box. You see, this is my home. This is where I live every day. I come to work at 6. I go home at 6.
And you guys got to check out the video because Nelson worked here back in the early 90s.
Oh, yeah.
Ended up moving in 2011. That's all in the other video.
And you'll see that.
But talking about this, Coach, this is a quad slide. How many H's are you converting every year? How many X's?
So we're doing 12 H's and 1 X3 double slide and 1 X3 non-slide.
I like that. I'm a big fan of the non-slide coaches for like a driving style setup. So that's something that you can do here at Millennium?
Absolutely. And if you really look at the platform, this coach is designed to ride, but it's really fun to drive. For the drivers, hey, more power to you. For the riders, I want to be a rider. I've been driving for 25 years. I want to ride.
Well, yeah, having a non-slide coach, it's going to be a little lighter and, without the slide rooms, just a very stable ride going down the road. But you build a lot of quad slides. I think a lot of the RVers out there at resorts, they want all the bells and whistles. They want the quad slides.
They do. And it's not just because of the size. It's just because of the function, right? The way that it travels when you close the slide outs, how you move from front to back. Prevost designed a slide out system that is conducive to traveling down the road. We have added to that by building our cabinetry and our furniture so you can walk up and down the road. You have full air conditioning, and you'll see that when we talk about the interior. So yeah, quad slides are the thing.
Yes, sir. Now, before we go through the base, let's take a quick look at this front end because talking about lighting, I love what you did with the backlit Millennium logo and then, of course, the new body style Prevost headlights. Just an incredible front cap, the way those awnings tie in with that front cap. Just a beautiful looking coach.
So we do our own fiberglass work in-house, right? So we don't sub any of this stuff out. We're one of the only ones that do everything in-house, from furniture to cabinet building to servicing to sales, consignments, fiberglass, we do it all here. So I can come out and say, no, I don't like that angle, change it. And I'm not the end all be all, right? I have a team of people that come out and we can talk about it. They give me pros and cons, and that's what we end up with.
Yeah, and I think you guys have played with a little bit of fiberglass. You were building boats in this building 30 years ago, so you're not afraid to play with a little fiberglass.
Absolutely not. No, I know how to roll some mat.
Yes, sir. Now I see here it says 2025 L edition. What does that L stand for?
That L is designating this coach as a lithium battery coach. We use a different technology of lithium, a different chemistry. We are able to minimize the amount of equipment that we use to make this lithium system work. It has the same capacity and the same capabilities as any other lithium system out there. Some customers do not want lithium. Not only the expense, it's the juice worth the squeeze.
You give that option, the owner can spec it as they please.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, can we take a look inside the base here?
Yeah. So, of course, lighting, and I got a little, history. When I first put awning lights in a 2004 coach, I was laughed at. Like, people said, oh, look at this guy putting lights everywhere on this coach. And now, everybody's got lights everywhere, right? So lighting is a thing. Everybody wants lights.
Absolutely.
Right? So we're going to put lights anywhere we want. Slide out lights. They're cut by the CNC. We make this in-house. These light fixtures are not available aftermarket. They're replaceable, very easy. They're flush.
I'm noticing a red light here. Does that change colors?
Yeah, so we can do either one. So this coach has got a little bit of red accent. The customer has the opportunity to turn the red on or the white on. Right now we have them both. So if you can see, he has an option of handle red lights or your rubber lights. Now, these rubber lights are more like a patio light, like an area light. Because of our electrical system, we can control those lights. They can turn it on before they leave. And as the sun goes down, I can start dimming these lights automatically. 11 o'clock, they go to 50%. 1 o'clock in the morning, they go to 25%. Soft lighting until in the morning when the sun comes up. One of the other things that we do that is really cool is the way that we open our bays on a 4-slide, and it's they open sideways, right? This door's open out of the way. So now, depending on what you're doing here, this is all storage. On this particular coach, TV and refrigerator setup, you can have an entertainment center without having these doors in your way. So they are pulling out of the way. Now, we talked about, our electrical system, Lutron, that's what it is, right there. So 4 inches thick because it belongs in a home, not in a motorhome, right? It's a residential commercial electrical control system. And that's what we're doing in this coach. We have been doing that since day one. By the way, they laughed at me when I told them at the beginning back in 2000 that I wanted that system in a motorhome. They said, you never do that. And here we are 25 years later, and we're one of the best dealers.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I think that's some of the most motivational words in the English language is you can't do that.
You can't do that.
Now, real quick, before we go down there, I just want to point out that you've got a different style material on the walls versus some of the other manufacturers I see. What type of materials are you using in these bays?
So because of the marine experience too, right? I know the marine vinyl is, you can get it wet and it's not going to get messed up. Put it in the sun, it's not going to get messed up. And then, of course, the coin mat is oil and, fuel and chemical proof and waterproof. So I want this bay to be able to be rinsed off for whatever reason, something spills without damaging anything. When people do carpet, this is not a trunk, right? This is a utility bay.
More of a garage.
It's a garage. So we are treating that as a garage. But if you see, when we look at the trim work, it's all sewn. So there is stitching. We take a garage and make it into the next level garage, right? With the materials that are going to hold up for a lifetime.
Yeah, and I love the turned aluminum look face. So we have a slide tray here, and then is this just a manual
It's a big drawer, yeah.
Huge manual drawer. So I like that you've got a manual spot, perfect spot to store your Millennium rug.
Yeah.
And then is the slide tray power?
This one is, so we offered both. In this particular one, we have power, sometimes our manual.
So that's all what the customer wants.
What the customer, 99% of what we do is custom. So here, we have the TV that comes out, but we needed a wall to protect the TV from the equipment. But guess what? What we did is we made it a table. So that table serves 2 purposes. Protects the TV, but it's also a table. We're talking about this TV, right? Back in 2005, my daughter came up with it. We were parking at Disney, testing a coach, and I said, go outside and watch TV. And she came back in the bus. She goes, Dad, I can't watch TV. I'm like, what do you mean? Turn it on. She goes, yeah, turn it on, but there's a tree in the way. I can't watch it. She goes, why don't you make it so it comes out and you can flip it? And I'm like, that's a great idea. The 8-year-old little girl came up with this, and now everybody uses it.
Very cool, very cool.
Right now, she's a PhD at Berkeley in business and in leadership.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, well, to her too. She's one of those kids that never stop.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Then you have an outdoor cooler out here?
Oh, sure. This area here is up for grabs. So some people want a wine cooler, beverage cooler, freezer. So we leave this open. Just like that bay, that is our standard bay. Some people will come and say, I want a double grill. I want a super kitchen, or I want to leave it open because I'm going to throw buckets in there or whatever. I'm hunting for artwork. We have actually turned that bay into a living area.
I've seen that, yes, sir.
Room.
I think we called that a basement bedroom.
Single man's bed.
Yes, sir.
So we're going back to the next bay, which is where all the big power happens. So this is what you would see in the bilge of a boat. Breakers, just like at home. Like at home, when you want to turn your stove on, you don't go to the breaker panel and turn the stove on, right? You just turn the stove on. So you don't need a breaker panel inside the bus. We keep it outside. So when you trip that breaker, there's a problem. I don't want you working with breakers. When you walk in that bus, it needs to be an extension of your home. Sometimes it's 3 months before you get back in the bus. You don't have to relearn what red button to push to do what, right? You just come in.
Yeah, I love some of the simplicity that we saw on the interior. I'm really looking forward to showing the folks the interior, but I just want to point out how clean all of this wiring is here. And then I'm noticing these large inverter shutoff switch. It looks like you've got 4 inverters here.
4 3,500 watt Outbacks. We have been doing that since 2006. That was based upon my children too. They would want to, we go down the road and they want to flip things on and, water heaters and run the water pump and, take a shower and TVs. With the 4 inverters, we lose I just tripped the breaker syndrome, right? Going down the road. We have the battery power, but we also have alternator power to back it up. So what we have done is we have eliminated the need to have to manage your power going down the road, number one. When you're parked, you have a safety net. If you trip the breaker at the pole, that your coach is not going to crash, that everything is going to be handled by the inverters, except the dryer. We don't like to run 240. Everything else is going to run air conditioners until the batteries go to a certain point and the generator starts. But this is all done per ABYC standards.
I'm sorry, I'm not familiar.
ABYC, it's American Boat and Yacht Council, electrical standards, right?
Your background's from the marine industry, so you're working off of their standard?
In the marine industry, you walk in a bilge and it looks like an operating room, right?
Yes, sir.
These electricians that are putting those wires together, they're artists.
Yes, sir.
They are combing, they're holding, they're rubbing, they're molding, they're crimping, they're measuring. There's templates. That just did not come out of the mold just like that, right?
No,
There's
sir.
people in the background really caring about how to take care of that.
Are the 4 3,500 watt inverters only on lithium coaches, or would that be on a non-lithium coach?
That's going to be on every coach since 2006.
Wow,
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, very cool. And the really cool thing about those inverters is that they will double their capacity for about 45 seconds. So if you have 2 air conditioners start on one leg, we can start them.
Wow.
On inverter power.
Very cool,
Yeah,
very cool.
super cool. So here in this bay, we have a couple of options. This one has a grill. And by the way, every coach comes with a central vac, dustpan, vacuum, and then the hose. So we have.
It's a must for keeping a coach clean.
God.
Yes, sir.
I'll tell you. But this one, will come out again. All marine hardware, electric grill, 110 volts, right? Absolutely can run off the inverters and the batteries. You can cook a meal for 2 right in that grill like nobody's business. This is the best grill that is out there that is 110. I have coaches that put 2 of these. And I got a picture last night, I was telling you earlier, from a rally that our customers are going in, and the customer had 2 of these. He fed 10 people out of 2 grills. So
very nice.
Yeah.
Now, what really impresses me about this bay is that you've got that turned aluminum not only on all the face of the grill and the countertop here, but the walls, the floor of this bay. I mean, below those brackets for the slide mechanism is all finished out in that turned aluminum. Very cool style.
So I'm getting to know you a little bit. You're a boat lover too.
Yes, sir.
So this is a bilge. It's that engine room in that boat, right? That really fancy boat. So when you have to eat from it. You got to feel like it's clean, and it's got clean lines, and it's put together right? So when you look at something like that, you know that what's behind is even better. I am about aesthetics, but what it looks from the outside also has to represent what is inside. Because somebody's going to pull that panel one day, and it's going to look behind there, and it's got to look even better.
Yes, sir.
Right? Do you follow me?
Absolutely, yes, sir. Well, and not only the look, but the feel. Like, I don't know where the latching mechanism, but when you slid that tray up, I mean, you could feel the quality.
That is all marine hardware, right? So it just locks in, locks out. I mean, it's just, old stainless. Now, this bay is one of my favorites.
Before we do that, fuel capacity in the Prevost.
This one is 208 gallons.
Over 200 gallons. You're beating everybody else in the industry once you get to that point. And this is a really convenient, it's about chest high for most, locked door to protect that 200 gallons of diesel.
Absolutely. We got a little bit of marine hardware, so this is what you would see on a boat, like even the fresh fill. This is just like on a boat. Hose bib, we call it just like on a boat. Awning controllers, some manual switches, pressure washer. We've been doing pressure washers on coaches since day one. This coach has a macerator. Now, the macerator, you can do the gray or the black because we do 2 tanks, or you can do both, right? Now, my thing is, can you service it, right? Can you get to the stuff? The ionizer tank for the pressure washer, 100 feet of hose, pressure washer hose. I can pull that hose anywhere around the bus, and I can pressure wash anything.
I come from the detailing business, so that's something I can really appreciate. Right. But 100 feet of hose, if you need to wash cars, motorcycles.
You're going to be washing the neighbor's bus.
Yes, sir, yeah. Oh, they'll want you to, that's for sure.
But the macerator, most people use the little Japsco small pump. We use the big pump, right?
I don't think I've ever seen a macerator that big.
Okay, so, I mean, we're Americans, so we eat good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You got to make sure you can pump the waste out. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So what you're seeing right now, right there is our monitors for the tanks, and everything is accessible too.
Very clean as well, just the way that's placed there.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
So if you can get to it, you can fix it. Is what I'm getting to.
Yes,
right?
sir.
So that is this bay, both heated, electric, and aqua hot. On the side of the coach, we have a built-in airline to fill the tires, do whatever, 130 pounds, a weatherproof box. But remember, I talked to you about the switch. This is a backup switch. Right now, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 alternators, right? If you have a problem with any of them, flip that switch to boost, start the generator, and you're good to go. This is an electric fan drive, cooling system. So you need alternator, but if that belt goes out, you have no power, right? We can draw from our generator, onboard generator. So that's part of the mentality, how to back up a system. And it's just a very simple flip, right? Go in the back, flip that switch, wait 5 minutes, and let's go.
Kind of a backup if you do need.
Yes, exactly.
What year did you start doing this Millennium cutout?
That's been about 3 years since we got our laser CNC. And now we have a Millennium like that is backlit like the one on top.
Really cool lighting. I don't know of anybody else doing a backlit logo on the rear end of the coach. And I've got to compliment that rear cap, the way it ties in with those awnings. It's a great looking rear end and the paint job as well. We've got a lot of cool metallics in the paint, just so much going on back here. We found Amber in charge of all of the paint designs here at Millennium, and I'm impressed with what you've got here. What are we looking at?
So this is one of our newer coaches. We call it our show coach. It's gonna be for our 25-year anniversary. So we wanted to go for a Millennium theme. You can see we've got the gold. We wanted the nice crisp whiteness, something we don't always do, but we wanted to show it off and showcase it in this coach. You'll see the hints of black because obviously our colors are black and gold, but we wanted to really showcase it throughout. And then you'll also notice that the pattern that we have on this one, we wanted an organic look, so we really went with that. but we still wanted those nice lines that just went through, give it a nice combination of the two.
Absolutely. Is there an inspiration behind that pattern?
Not particularly. We knew we wanted something organic, so we kind of went out and just looked at the world around us, saw what we saw, and this was just what we came. It just popped. We put it on here, put it with the scheme, saw what it looked like, and it was just perfect for it.
The lighter colors, the design patterns, the flow of this coach, you knocked it out of the park on this one.
We really wanted to bring some of the tradition. So like the gold, you'll notice it's a gold that's been going through all Prevost throughout the years, not just ours, you'll see it on everyone's. So we really wanted to bring that in there because it's gold. It's a beautiful color. It really pops against this white, and we wanted to bring it to today. And so this is what we came up with.
Coming to the back of the coach, this window is open right now, but there's a perforated vinyl with that same paint, and that paint really matches. Sometimes when I see vinyl, it doesn't quite line up with the colors.
This is one of those things that we actually come standard on all of our coaches. We always make sure that it has these. These are painted. So it's not printed, it is painted. And so that way we can make sure it lines up and goes perfectly throughout the whole thing with the stencil and everything. The same way you would paint the bus, we make sure that those get painted so it's the same quality and we keep it as high quality as we can.
And then even with the paint, are you able to see outside of the bus through the perforated vinyl?
Yeah, so when you're inside the coach, you're not even gonna notice that there's a paint scheme on there. You're gonna be able to see out of it perfectly fine.
But from the outside, you cannot see in?
Correct. So you got all that privacy going on.
Very cool. You and the team at Millennium knocked it out of the park with this paint design. Now, are there any other cool coaches that the folks should be keeping an eye out for on the social media?
Honestly, all of them. I think that we've really upped our paint scheme designs going on. So we've got sunsets coming up. We've got some longhorns coming up. We've got some marbling that's not the normal marbling that everyone's used to. It's more of the pattern that's going on throughout, kind of like how we have the organic here. We've got it more of a marble pattern like you'd see on your countertops at home. We've got inspiration from everywhere, and we're starting to put those on the coaches so you can see them more.
Well, very cool. I'm going to be keeping an eye on Millennium's social media to see what you guys are up to here.
And if you see the little indents on the caps, that's, room for improvement. I have some customers that want stainless on that. I can put more lighting on that. I can do whatever I want on those.
Yeah, very cool. Talking about lighting again, I love those lights below the slide room here. Really
amazing.
Nice lighting.
And and again, I gotta credit my people. They go through the process of make a difference, which is something that we have here at Millennium. Anybody can pull the train cord and stop it or make it go faster. And this is one of our employees saying, hey, I can do something that nobody else has. And I can do this on the CNC machine, and we can start today. Can you try it? And I'm like, sure.
Going into your plumbing bay.
One of my best bays that I really like, believe it or not, is the sewer bay. Why? Because it's really easy to use, right? And it's got everything accessible, right? From the water pump to, the actual faucet, the iPad, which we don't need unless you want to turn the air conditioners on or off inside and, do extra stuff. We have extra switches that you can completely go to directly. Then we have hard switches from the short cord. Hose reel is electric. We have an auxiliary water pump. So if your main water pump, remember back to the backups, your main water pump goes out, hit that auxiliary pump, you're back in business. You're not 100% back in business, but you're not dead in the water. The macerator reel, now that reel is also electric. So we can pull that reel out and take it 35 feet, 40 feet out of the bus. Now, when I open the space, I'm gonna start with the electronics. I can do satellite, I can do short cable, I can do cable modem. So if you have a modem, a casita with the modem, it's already pre-wired, so it's all set up right there. We use a monoblock system, and that is a plumbing system that has been tested and for many, many, many years. I can separate a zone from any other zones in the bus by flipping a valve. The valves are electric, not air. This coach has a secondary valve that is manual.
And how big are the holding tanks?
We have 165 of fresh, we have 100 of gray, and 110 of black.
I see this weight right here. Is that to make sure you hold the sewer hose down, I believe?
Yes, sir. Keep them rats away.
Hey, all those little details, yes,
Yeah,
sir.
everything has its place and every place has its thing. The way we flush our tanks, we're just gonna go black tank flush or gray tank flush.
Very user-friendly
And
there.
and people love that because we're just gonna sit here, we're gonna flush our tanks, we're gonna flush.
And that's it. When you turn it that way, it'll gravity flush, and then
Yep.
you also have the macerator if you want to use that.
Absolutely. Generator 20 kW. Different here is the radiator is on the roof. So those two big hoses are going to the roof. Radiator and the fluid, no heat exchange here. Also the exhaust go through the roof for the generator and the aqua hot. So there is no heat exchange down below.
That's a huge advantage if you're, camping in tight
Oh, my
areas or
goodness.
racetracks.
Yeah.
Those generator fumes, if you're close to other coaches, it can get very
It is
dangerous.
horrible. It is horrible.
And that's one of the things I like about the lithium batteries too. I fought lithium batteries personally until I had a Sprinter van that had a package.
Yeah.
And when I was able to run the ACs off of just the inverters
Yeah.
without having to turn the generator
Yeah.
on, it made sense to me because there's no fumes, no
Yeah.
noise pollution.
Got it.
But I like that you've got the fumes vented out of the roof so you're not dealing with those.
A aqua system 675 is the model.
That's the big boy.
The big boy. Hot water on demand. You're gonna run out of water before you run out of hot water. This is the rack that I have in my house, right? I brought it here. So everything that you see here is like you see in a home. So if there's an AV issue, you come here.
Yeah, extremely clean. I like the way it's finished out in that matte black. So this is all of your AV equipment, all of the kind of brains of the coach?
Not the brains. So the brains are the Lutron, right? The Lutron system is the brains. This is more of a second brain, if you want to call it, right?
Yes, sir.
The pretty brain.
Yes, sir.
Lutron does the hard work. This is the stuff that makes it funny on the iPads and flips your channels and things like that. So you have two systems. Most people do one, we do two, and we separate. We separate the hard-working one, which is Lutron, reliable and proven, and then the stuff that we have to keep updating with technology. When HDTV came out, we have to update gazillion thousand TVs. Starlink came out, we have to update all that router. That's what this is. Now, there are some things here that do not change, but all the equipment is in one bay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, makes sense?
Yes, sir.
And then here, this is a timeout bay, I call it. It's dealer's choice. This can be a closet, this could be a kitchen. We don't like to do kitchens on this side because it's on the wrong side of the bus. But we can do a closet, we can do a refrigerator setup, we can do a toolbox or drawers. Here is open for them to put their winter clothes, their big jackets.
And then I see the ladder. Does that come with every coach?
Every single coach.
Got to pull these out. A little different style of embroidery here, a little
Yeah.
something special.
Yeah.
Okay, Millennium Luxury Coach.
This has been our logo. Our M swish has been, our signature mark since the beginning. We are embracing that.
Well, we know these lawn chairs last decades and decades,
Yeah.
so always fun to see these. And it's one of those things, if it's not broke, don't fix it. We all need lawn chairs.
Yeah,
and
you
to be
got it.
able to store high quality lawn chairs in this small of a space,
Yep.
it's just the best way to do
Yep.
it.
And then that lock, like a little plastic piece that we developed and made on our CNC.
Nice,
Yep.
just so they're staying in place.
Yep.
Well, I'm impressed with the exterior of this coach, but I have a lot more questions I want to ask you, and I think the folks want to see a look at the interior. You think we could take a look inside?
Absolutely. I can't wait.
Sounds good.
All right.
Well, the interior of this coach is incredible,
Thank
but there's been a lot of changes here in the cockpit for the new 9660.
When I got the first shell, I looked through it, I sat in it, I drove it. I didn't need to change anything. I just needed to make it more appealing to the eye. So that's what we did. Once we start talking about how do we take something that is commercial, because this is what this is. This is a commercial vehicle that we are converting. We're not building, we're converting a commercial vehicle into a motorhome. So how do we do that? How do we do a 55 passenger bus and make it a $3 million bus? We change the branding a little bit. We add our own touches to it, the red stitching. Now, when Prevost designed the dash for the 9660, They had a ton of engineers working on it. So they understand. A lot of feedback from, drivers and converters. I said, I don't need to change it. I just need to make it look like $3 million. So different stitching, different paneling, adding my switches, adding better controls. Got away from the standard stock plastic handrail, and we make our own handrail and make it so the customer feels like they are in a $3 million piece of machinery, but easy to operate. I don't want them to be scattered throughout. Now, standard equipment, backup camera, we have multiple switches. We can switch cameras just by the touch of a button. Backup camera, hitch camera. We can turn the radio power on and off. Right now, the 360 is a standard feature on our coaches. The difference then with us is that we are running this through a digital recorder. So we can go back 3 months later and I can see what happened 3 months back. Now, why is that important? Going down the road, we have a forward-facing camera mounted all the time, and we're recording. You'll be amazed how many people out there try to get in front of a bus like this to create an insurance claim. Really, we have caught people deflating tires on neighbors' coaches. We have caught people stealing cars. We have caught people on camera stealing motorcycles and bicycles and accidents. It always saves the customer from litigation. They can go right to the app, they can download right there on the spot to the cops, and they love that. To me, I want to be able to see out, and I want to be able to have control of the steering wheel without having to look down. The infotainment center, obviously right now I have it on the camera, navigation, radio, all Bluetooth, so I can actually control it. I can put my phone to that and I can play Pandora or whatever other music server I have. So everything is within reach. I didn't feel the need to change what Prevost had created, and we didn't. So what we did is we made it better. A lot of great reviews on what our dashes are coming back with. Believe it or not, Prevost actually had that red stitching to begin with. We just added to it. When it comes from the factory, it is the best that Prevost can, deliver, so we just make it better.
And I'm seeing a massaging seat button there, just easy access to the driver where you're not reaching around on the side of the seat. Is there a reason that you chose to have that switch there rather than on the seat like we see in some other motorhomes?
So totally, it's because I drive. I don't want to be playing around with switches. I want to be able to have everything at eye level. Even the iPad control, I can control anything from the coach on my shoulder. Leveling system, and then of course the Lutron panel. Everything is going to be right next to me and at eye level. I don't want to take my eyes off the road ever. In this coach, it's going to feel comfortable. It's not going to feel like you're driving 45 feet, to the point that you get on the road 45 minutes later, you forget that you're driving a 45-foot coach.
Prevost went to the new e-mirrors on the 9660 shell, and you've got several owners out on the road in these new body style Prevosts. How are folks responding, and what's your reaction to the e-mirrors?
So the e-mirrors are an addition. My concern right now is that we have to use both. So because we're big time into Canada, we have to meet certain regulations. Those e-mirrors have not been approved for motorhome use to date. We can do both. We can do the regular mirror and the e-mirrors. So I let my customers choose. And I'm getting 50-50. 50% they want them just for the thrill of it. The other 50%, they decide, I'm not ready for e-mirrors. I'm just going to keep my regular mirrors.
What has your experience been traveling at night with the e-mirrors? Do you think there's an advantage to the e-mirrors at nighttime?
Absolutely, 100%.
So whatever the client's preference is, you're willing to work with them?
Absolutely, and understanding that even though they might like that feature, they might want that feature, that they might not, once they get it and they use it, they might go, you know what, I thought it was something else, and I thought it was going to do something else for me. But at that point, it's null and void. It doesn't matter. You already have them.
Or I could see a situation where someone doesn't think they want them, but when they get in there at nighttime, they may really enjoy them.
And I think that's what happened with me personally, that I was not sold on it until I drove it, and then I was like, I can get used to that. And with the coach, because you have 45 feet behind you, the more cameras, the better. The more technology that you have to prevent you from hitting something or seeing what's around you, obstacles, the better it's going to be. be, the better comfort that people are gonna have. When it comes to shades, we're using Lutron shades, and I'm integrating the sunscreens along with the blackout shades, all in one. So that is gonna be our blackout, and our sunscreen is right behind it, and they're both controlled. So this one will be, for night. The other one is going to be driving. You can block your sun, and super quiet. Both of them controlled by the iPad or Shade Master. So we want to keep everything simple. We don't want people to have to wonder. This has got to feel like a car.
I have to compliment you that you have a one-touch on this. I've been in a lot of motor coaches that I have to hold the shade buttons down. Now, is that a safety? If you were to close them, is it one-touch closing them? Because would that be a safety issue?
That changes when you're driving. Then you got to push and hold.
Okay, no, that makes sense.
And that's through Lutron. Through Lutron, we can do anything. We have kept our entrance the same way.
You've got these beautiful floors in the entryway. Then you have these nice covers. Is that something that Millennium makes in-house here?
All in-house and all standard, so pretty much every coach has it. The reason for these is we don't know where our customers are going to be. They can be at a whole range of events and or places that can track, and not everybody is quick. It's raining, you're not going to pull your shoes out, you're going to step in here somewhere, pull your shoes, whatever you are. Even at the gas station, you pull in somewhere, you don't have to worry about getting stuff back in the bus.
These are very easy to clean.
Oh, absolutely. Take them out, and with the built-in pressure washer, we can spray them out and be done.
Exactly, yes sir. Well, I'm really impressed with this cockpit area, but
Thank you.
I think the rest of the coach is something for the folks to get excited
my
about.
goodness.
And I think we're going to learn a lot today. Do you think you could show us around?
Yeah, please. Allow me, please. Remember, we got 350 square feet, and my goal is to make it individual, like make different rooms. So we have our cockpit. Now, when you're parked on an H and you're sitting and you're hanging out, really, you're not looking at a console. You're not looking at a steering wheel. You're looking out just beautiful windows, right, in the view. So now we are into our office reading room. This one is going to have a little tray, electric recliner, super bright lights, right? Again, Lutron shades. Then we go into our dining room, right, our dining area. This dining area is expandable, so I can turn that around that way. I can go in. So when we are running, I'm gonna close everything up. When I'm deployed, I'm gonna open everything. But right now, the cushion is going in, the table is going in. So this is kind of like my travel mode. We designed the coach so when the slide outs are in, you can walk down the hall. You have full access to your air conditioning, right? So that is 100%.
That's a big deal, actually, because I have been in motorhomes where the AC, when the slide rooms come in, is kind of going down on the top of the slide rooms, and it felt like it wasn't cooling the coach as efficiently as it could.
Exactly. So, cooling is air in, air out. So whatever air goes in, you got to cool it, bring it back out. Center line. So if you look down the coach, everything is accessible with all the slide outs going in, right? Now, our directional vents. I like direct airflow. Some people don't, so you can turn them. Now you can close it all the way. That works individually. None of the ACs are tied together. The number 3 AC also pumps air into the bedroom, just in case you wanted to just, something happened and the AC in the bedroom was down, you still get cooling back there.
We were running the ACs in this coach just off of the lithium battery package this morning. How many ACs can you run and for how long with this lithium system?
So, the whole thing with how long, it's got to depend on what the inside temperature is and then outside ambient temperature. So we can go 17 hours on a 77-degree day at 72 inside, right?
Wow.
But the beauty of it is that we can run everything. We can run all of them. The only thing that we can't run on inverters is the dryer, because it's 240. We don't like to make 240 with inverters, because that never works. And when you're going down the road, basically all you got to do is turn your ACs on and go down the road. Just cool it. Things are going to equalize and start coming on and off, as they need to.
But that alternator will keep those batteries charged?
Yes, which is a 24-volt alternator too. It's not a special alternator, it's off the shelf. We just changed the pulley to get a little bit more RPM out of it, and it's been working amazing. So
awesome.
yeah, no, we got our lithium program set up right. Now, a little tricks like this. Even the footstools serve as seating. So if you have guests, you can actually move those and they become extra chairs.
And I like the versatility of these as well, like a small coffee table as well with that wood grain and that circular vibe. It almost reminds me of like a whiskey barrel or something. It's very cool
And
design.
that was customer selected too. Like ours would be square, the one of the round ones. The fun part about this is that they remind you of that marine kind of technology, like you have one thing that does multiple things. Sofa bed. So this is going to be a jackknife sofa, electric. All the furniture, this furniture was built in-house. We have our own upholstery shop here. So we not only build the frame, build the mechanism, upholster it, foam it. I mean, to the point that there's sometimes that we have a customer that has to sit. We measure their length between the back of the knee and the back and make sofas
custom build the furniture to make it ergonomic for them.
Yes. You'd be amazed how many people are uncomfortable on a standard sofa.
Absolutely. I can appreciate that. Now, one thing that I've really noticed about Millennium coaches is how they hold up over time. I've only seen so many of them, but even that first Millennium that I saw, that 03 double slide, Court and Heather midlife Prevost are still running around in that coach, using it all over. The overall build quality, I mean, especially the cabinets and other Millenniums I've seen, they're all just really hold up well over time. What is it about your build process that maybe others aren't doing, and why is it holding up so well over time?
You know, so number one, I think that our substrate is important. You know, we talk about composites to make things lighter and things like that. I'm big into poplar. Poplar is the lightest wood that you can find, and we use European poplar plywood created for interior spaces. So not only do we lose the weight by like 2/3, we still retain the screwing, capability, so we can screw into it. We use a lot of aluminum honeycomb, like that table right there. This is a honeycomb aluminum, like the floor of a 747.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's
that piece.
I gotta feel it right here.
Yeah.
Wow. Now that you say that, it's a lot lighter.
It's totally lighter.
Obviously not wood. Yeah.
It's not wood, but it's not. But it's not composite. It's aluminum, right? So it's not going to emit any kind of fumes or anything like that. So when you look at it, you think it's wood, but it's not. It's super light. It just moves like it's supposed to.
Going back to the wood that you used, you were just mentioning you use a very special wood. Is there a reason that you're using that wood over the other types of woods that are used in the industry?
In the U.S., there's really no regulations on how to build an interior space. Interior space is anywhere that you are going to sleep in or live in, right? So we can use the same wood that we use to line our house outside, inside. Well, the U.S., the most popular wood is pine. And so all the plywood and all the substrates are going to be pine based. With that comes glue, and with glue comes formaldehyde. In Europe, it's the opposite. There's a regulation. In interior space, they cannot emit formaldehyde more than this percentage. I think it's 0.005. And it's worse when it gets hot. Like if ACs go out, it gets hot, the glues trigger, formaldehyde emits.
You smell it. When I walk into coaches that are on a hot day, a lot of the coaches, you smell it.
Your eyes start burning. Like when we walk through the cabinet shop, it's like walking through, a park almost, right?
Yeah.
You don't smell that glue. We buy it twice a year. We got to buy 6 months supply because shipping it is a pain, especially after COVID.
Yes, sir. Now, is that more expensive, or what would the reason for other builders not using that type of wood?
Well, let me tell you that I don't know about the other converters, but I know that Prevost, because I did all this work, right, and I do all this with poplar. I looked at Prevost one day and I look at my floor that comes from the factory and it's pine. So I went back to them and I'm like, guys, we can lose 1,000 pounds just on the floor. If you use poplar, we exchange information, and now the floors on the Renaissance are poplar.
Wow, I'm learning a lot today from you. I really appreciate that. Now, about what year did Prevost make that change?
I think it was maybe 2 years ago, maybe 3.
Very recent.
Yeah.
Very cool.
They still try to sneak in a couple of little pine panels here and there, and we take it all out and replace it with our stuff.
What else are you doing differently than a lot of others?
So if you look at our countertops, we do solid surface. When we have to do, and we call this a square round. And people think, how can you do a square round, right? Well, it's solid surface, right? I can make a straight edge, but I can also make a curve. We thin this down to 3/8 of an inch. We also use stone, and that stone gets machined down from 3 centimeters down to 3/8. And that's the process. You know, they grind the back of the stone. You end up at a real size stone countertop, but half the weight. And that's what you see on airplanes and boats. We like fiberglass. We like to use fiberglass parts. This windowsill right here, that came out of a mold. So that weighs like 2 pounds.
You used to build boats in this
same building.
So yeah, you're not afraid to play with a little fiberglass to make some cool components
absolutely not, yeah.
that are very rigid and really are holding up to ocean conditions.
Absolutely. Then you lose some of the weight. And you stay consistent. You know, staying consistent is part of the game too.
Yes, sir. Now, I know you're the mastermind behind the build of all of this, but these design cues, you're just absolutely knocking it out of the park with these cabinets, that backsplash, so many different stuff.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing here with interior design?
So, you know, I gotta blame my wife on that. Some people think that I am a designer and I got this designer in me, and maybe I do. When it comes to colors and blending, that's her forte, and I just trust the process. You know, sometimes I try to get involved, but you know, at the end, she has a better vision than I do.
I'll tell you what, I've got so many questions I want to ask you, and I want to learn so much more about this, Coach, but I think we should track down your better half and have her talk about some of this interior design. Do you think we can get her in front of the camera?
Oh, absolutely.
So Larry, you're in charge of the interior design of this coach. Was there any type of inspiration on this coach?
The inspiration, this customer, he's had a couple Millenniums and he's always had blue on the exterior, so he did red this time. So we wanted to bring a little bit of the red tones in. He definitely loves the white crisp lines. He wanted it light and bright, wanted it to feel roomy. He loves just a touch of glam, but simple and clean looking is what he really wanted the most.
Yes, ma'am. And when you mentioned the reds, as soon as we walked into the coach, the pattern on the front captain's chairs, just a really cool pattern, unlike anything I've seen. Was there an inspiration for that, or where did that come from?
Well, I thought using red, it just reminded me of a sports car. When you see a sports car in the driver's seats, you kind of see that quilted pattern. So I thought that was the perfect place to kind of have that masculine, fun racing feel.
Absolutely, and that pattern, you know, we've seen a lot of diamond stitching, but I don't know if I've seen this new kind of geometrical pattern. Was there an inspiration for that pattern? Because I haven't seen that pattern on any other motor coach or car for that matter.
I think the geometric just really spoke to the customer. That's what when they saw it, we had a couple different options, and that's what they were drawn to, especially when we were able to add the red stitching that went with the exterior of the coach.
Now, when someone's designing a coach, you have several different options for that owner through the design process?
Oh, absolutely. We can do it all.
If they can think of it and they've got the checkbook to back it up, you guys will make it happen?
Absolutely.
And the cabinets have a very cool style to them. And am I seeing a two-toned on the different cabinets
This
here?
one is. It's a subtle two-tone. So this one is a high gloss, kind of more silver. And this one, it has a deeper gray that has a little bit more veining in it.
Yeah, with that pattern, it reminds me of almost a brushed aluminum look. And then I've got to ask, because I see that backsplash there, and it almost appears to be backlit.
It absolutely is. We put the panels behind it, a special tile that's able to see the light through it. It definitely illuminates a small space.
Yeah, it really brightens it up inside of this coach. And then this part of the coach is a little bit different of a style.
This customer dreamed this up, and he wanted that almost like limo feel is how it was described. So he just wanted that extra flair to make it stand out for him.
Yeah, very cool with the rounded edge and some really cool decor pieces as well. Is that something that you work with the customers?
We knew that the customer wanted to keep with the silver tones and have that geometric shape in there. So we do have free will to accessorize little fun spots. So once we get their vibe of do they like the geometric shapes versus plants versus anything else that they could think of. Sometimes they even bring their own. We have a Western one where she's bringing her jeweled donkey that she's going to to put in herself.
So no matter what the customer's personality or style is, you're able to work with
absolutely.
them. Now, do you stage the coaches with bedding, all the decor? Does that come with the brand new coach?
Absolutely. During the design process, they do pick out the bedding. We ask, are they the person that wants a lot of pillows or do they not? So when we come in, they're able to pick every single element. Not everyone gets excited about picking the slide wall material, but they absolutely, depending on how much involvement they want. If they just love design, we spend days with them picking out everything. Sometimes some customers will get a little overwhelmed with picking out every single piece of trim, so they trust us to do it.
Yeah, the owners of this coach have a really cool style, and you did a great job at executing that. Now, I'm seeing a cool accent wall here in the back of the coach. This lighting in the bedroom is unlike anything I've ever seen. Nobody's done anything like this.
And you're right, the customer that loved the geometric shapes, this was what he was drawn to. And the fact that we found it exactly a geometric layered light that puts out light for a motorhome, it works perfectly.
Well, you and the team at Millennium knocked it out of the park on this coach. Now, is there any challenges if someone wants to do something really wild or crazy with interior design? Is there anything you're afraid of?
Afraid of? No. Usually if it's something that I'm afraid of, I grab Nelson because he's the one that can build it. And if we can build it, service it, design it, then it's a home run. It just takes the team to figure that out.
Well, this coach is stunning, but I'm really looking forward to seeing what type of future coaches are coming through Millennium. Any specific coaches or designs that you're really excited about coming soon?
Yes, a bunch are super exciting. One of the next ones, they are customers from Texas, and they came in, did a custom job with wanting like a barn door feel. And then the next one after that is similar to this. They wanted just that soft gray. They wanted just to feel just soft and subtle. We have everything going down the line, so it really keeps me on my toes. We get to keep things interesting.
Look forward to seeing some of the new coaches coming through here at Millennium.
We can't wait to show them off.
You know, when we talk about my wife in this coach and what we build, I like to say it, but it's kind of funny and corny, you know, like she completes me. She does. She not only completes me, she completes our company. She completes the product. And I tell you that, I don't know if you remember earlier today when she said, hey, did you fix the pillows? And you had to kind of apologize. You said, I've been everywhere, I don't know, right? That kind of detail takes a coach from being finished to being complete. And she completes it. She is the touch, she is the hand. I can finish anything. What she does, she completes it. When she's done with that, it's ready to go and take some customer and make them cry.
I believe it. You guys are an awesome team, and it's been really cool being able to learn from both of you today, and you really do complement each other. So it's
Totally.
It's cool to see the end product here and the thought that goes into everything behind it. The work never stops at this level. This is a passion for both of you, and it really shows in the end product.
She's really taken over. So it's definitely been a blessing, not only for me, but for our family, for our business, for our industry, you know, you name it.
And talking about the cabinets again, I love that design, but when we open and close these, it's just very solid, very firm. We talked about that wood. What else do you do to give it such a firm feel?
Our hardware is European as well, right? So we got to be lined up properly. We have to be able to close and open without binding. What you're seeing is when you open, the lighting inside of the cabinet, right? So this, as we get a little older, we need more light, right? We need a ton of light. I have Lutron at home. I have a button, welcome home, right? And that just lights everything up. And you know, towards the evening, she's like, do we need all these lights on? But lighting is important. We need to be able to see lining, you know, for sound, as far as like you put in dishes is important. All the shelves are lined, right? And also using real wood for our drawers. This one right here has a secondary countertop. Sometimes you need a little extra room in the kitchen. Now I'm a cook too, by the way. I did not know that until I met her. I like to be in the kitchen. I like the kitchen triangle, so we tried to keep that together. We want this coach to be like your home. When you come in here, you don't feel like you just stepped into a bus. You stepped into your second home, right? And you are not gonna worry about red and white and black and green switches, right? You're gonna wanna open the faucet, get some hot water. You wanna cook, oven. You don't have to worry about what to do and not to do.
Absolutely, and talking about lighting, I already complimented Lara on the backsplash there, but a backlit backsplash, just phenomenal design there.
And it's amazing though, because that is one solid panel of light, right? And it's removable. Lara and I built the house together, and we were trying to convey this to our builder designer, and they're like, what? You can do what? I'm like, don't worry about it. We'll show you. We did a wall like that, and different stone. It's very popular and it's very durable. It's such a beautiful light to just wake up to.
Oh, I can imagine. Now, something that you're doing that I've seen some of the other high-end RV companies getting away from is the manual switches. And the RVers that I talk to, they just want to have a manual switch for the lights. They don't want to have to use a Crestron panel.
In this coach, we're going to have some tablets, but we're also going to have some handhelds. Home to me is more like my test lab. I came home one day and we have all this speaker sounds and all these iPads everywhere, and she's listening to Pandora on her phone. And I'm like, honey, what are you doing? And she goes, I don't want to mess with that iPad. I realized something at that point, I went too big. I went too much, right? So we have a handheld. We got a one-button deal. Back in the day when I started building coaches, we had salon left lights, salon right lights, galley lights, hallway lights. So you have a switch panel that is red and green and whatever colors, and you have to go hit them. You hit them all because you want all the lights on. The mentality now is, let's create a scene. You are living here. Hey, do you want to be in the dining room and read? There is a mode for that. So now instead of us controlling circuits, we're controlling scenes. This is a scene. And the customers can pick that. I have a customer that says, when I walk in the bus and I hit that Lights Master, it's not going to work the same as the Lights Master in the bedroom because somebody can be in bed. I want to hit the Lights Master and turn the lights on in the front of the bus, right? If you're in the bedroom, we're assuming that you're going to bed when you want to hit Lights Masters off. So we're going to shut everything down except the pathway lighting. So we can do some really creative things through Lutron, which is, we've been using since day one. We were actually the third dealer in Florida that was able to sell this level Lutron product.
Oh, that's very cool. And you mentioned something. We did another video talking about your history, how you got into the RV industry. Thanks again for sharing that story. We'll leave that video in the description below as soon as it's edited. But in that video, you mentioned that all of the Millennium coaches that you've ever built are still on the road?
Still driving down the road with happy customers.
That's incredible. So no total losses?
Nope. What makes you lose a coach, right? I'm a failure analysis too. My aviation background, when I was a kid, really, what I wanted to be was an aircraft investigator. To crash, right? Like, what makes planes crash? Yeah. I'm a junkie on the, online, and I watch the videos. I do destructive testing, and I test something to the point of break. And I know where my weak points are. I know where they are, and we reinforce those points. And plus, the check and balances, torquing, the torque specs, the checking and inspecting. When coaches come back in service, just like an airplane, A check, B check. Customers don't even know that's part of our protocol. Hey, look at that connector, look at this connector. Did that get loose? Retorque this. We have been very successful with that. We're blessed.
Yeah, a lot to be thankful for sure, and an incredible product that you're building.
Something else that we're doing here is floor heat. Floor heat in every coach since day one. And it's a little wire that we route on the floor. It's electric, about 6 amps, full power. I can keep this coach on a 50-degree day. I can keep it right about 82. So that's one way of heating the coach. We also have aqua hot, so we use aqua hot. And that aqua hot will give me hydronic heat through the ceiling or toe kicks. And then we also have heat pumps and electric heat strips. So
I see the fireplace as well. Does the fireplace generate heat?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you mentioned that you do a lot of international business, and a lot of your clients are from Canada, so I could see how heating would be important for those
Exactly.
clients.
The north, and we have some pictures from customers in situations that I wouldn't even be in a car, right? And they're bragging about their coach and how they're pulled into Aspen and they're going to be there 30 days, or northern Canada or something like that. It's always great to see our customers being comfortable, but it's really good. Remember, I call this my kids, right? Our kids behaving and doing what they're supposed to do, what they were meant to do, and they're doing it. I just love it that it does work.
Treating the owners of the coach right and making sure they're having a good experience. Dad.
And then just letting the coach do what he's supposed to do. Trusting the process, testing to the point of failure, backing off from there. Never being afraid to try something new if you can back off and afford to fix it.
Yes, sir. And coming from the aviation industry, you were talking about building backups and stuff.
There was always a manual bypass, right? So you'll never get stuck. I had a customer call me, and he threw a belt, a pulley. He's in a panic, and I'll just tell him, go in the back, flip the switch to this position, start the bus, and keep going. Call me when you stop. I moved on with my day. I didn't get a phone call, and the following day, no phone call. And then I realized, it came to me, I said, they never call me. So I called them. I said, so where are you at? He goes, well, the bus is working perfect. I don't know what I need to do. I said, we need to put a belt and a pulley. Yeah, we're good. We're on bypass though. You just utilized your one lifeline. Let's get it
make sure you have another lifeline.
Yeah,
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But it's comfortable to know that, and traveling with family and traveling. My early career traveling with young kids. That's the last thing you want to be. So you want to be stranded on the side of the road, or airplane, or on a boat out at sea. You want to be able to flip something or do something to keep moving.
You've got a lot of Millennium owners that are very loyal to you as well, and have owned several Millenniums.
Totally.
What's the most new Millenniums that one owner has bought?
As far as counting this owner of this coach, we were talking about delivering this coach. He's never been in the coach. He's already called it the old coach. He put a new order for 2027, right? Put me on the books. Too soon. You haven't even been in your coach yet. But I'll do that just to just to do it. What's really interesting is when the father was my customer and I met the son, and the son comes back and becomes a customer. That right there is it makes me feel super old, but then also makes me feel super proud. So when families get together, one member of the family owns something that we build, and then this other family member says, this is what we have to have.
That's a testament for sure.
That is humbling. And that's what makes me lose sleep at night, because I want to keep that. That's what makes me get up in the morning, because I want to keep that. That's what makes me not want to go to sleep, because I want to keep that, right?
Back on the Travel Channel, probably 10 years ago, I remember there was a father and son that both had Millenniums. Yep. They were the high rollers at Sturgis that year.
That's a Sturgis, and we got 1 and 2.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Spot 1 and 2 for that year. And those are generations, right? Those are generations. And if we can keep that generational chain going, we've definitely done something.
Absolutely. Well, it's always great to hear your story, but let's keep looking through this coach here. Now, is this a bath and a half coach?
This is a bath and a half with electric pocket doors. So when I hit it, it closes the door. But here we go, full length mirror. So now if I need to get out of this coach, I just grab the door.
Okay, so different with pneumatic air, you wouldn't be able to do that.
Absolutely not. You have to go into a cabinet and flip a switch. But who wants to do that when if there's
an emergency.
If it's an emergency. So I'm going to reset it. I'm going to go ahead and bring the ram back the other way. And now it's going to reattach. It's going to reconnect. This is our pantry. And these are some of our manual controls, right? Starlink. Every coach has a Starlink. Air conditioner, floor heat, generator controls, and the generator hours. This pantry is locked. You have to push it to release. Many, many times I have driven coaches without locks on the pantry. They just come and open. You have a big mess going down the road. Here is our washer and dryer. That door opens, and then this door pockets. So now you can work your laundry without having a door in the way, right?
Very cool.
Yes, and they're vented dryer, washer and dryers. More inverter panels. 2 inverters, which we actually have 4 inverters, 2 on each leg. We can run anything. Lutron controlling some systems here. Manual slide out switches.
Now I'm noticing that doorway has kind of an arch to it, giving it a cool look that's different than a lot of the other motorhomes.
So we enlarge our hallway, and this door is super long, right? So when we get to the side of the coach, we have to curve it. This particular coach is somewhat French provincial a little bit, right? So we need to have some curves. We need to have some of the curves. If you didn't, this door would close and you would see the curvature of the coach.
Now, how many coaches are bath and a halves? I know the bath and a halves have become very popular.
So here's the thing. We use the same floor plan on the slide outs. So it'll be a 4 slide with 2 super rear slides. Now you tell me if you want 2 toilets. That makes it a bath and a half. If you don't, if you said, Nelson, I want a rear shower I want one toilet, main toilet here, private bath, rear shower, closet, and a vanity in the back. Or I can put a toilet. Because we have to order the shells so far ahead of time. I don't, somebody comes in, I don't want to have to say, well, you got to wait another year for me to order another shell that matches your spec. This is the private lab, and what we want is, a real door. This is a real door. This is like a residential door, right? Once you look in there, you'll see the size of it. Now, invisible hinges, they call them sauce hinges, and they're super strong. When you look, you'll see a fancy toilet. And I'll tell you, this is a built-in bidet. A lot of the guys laugh about it until they use it. I had a guy that said, absolutely take him out, not wanting the bidet. I said, you use it for 30 days. If you don't like him, I will personally come to you and take him out. 30 days later, he called me. He ordered 7 more for his fishing camp that he was building. So that's how much he liked them, right? We have them at home.
Well, especially with the toilet paper shortages, you never know. He'll come in handy.
So back in the day when I used to travel with my kids, right, my son really liked to flush the toilet. We carry 165 gallons of water, 170 gallons. And we went from here to Cheyenne, Wyoming, 2009. And we ran out of water like 2 days into the trip because he just kept flushing the toilet. Every toilet now, you go to Home Depot, and for $120 you can buy a toilet that has water saver and a regular flush, right? We've been doing two flushes, since I can remember, maybe 2005. One is a rinse flush and one is a regular flush. So we're gonna be about 1.6 gallons on the second and about half a gallon on the first.
Yeah, very cool. In a marine style, like what I've seen in boats.
Yep, there we go. Now Lutron here the same way. We can electric heat the Bantry, the water pump, the sink lighting. So this is a glass sink. We can light it, down lighting. Of course, a vanity light. So Lutron can dim LEDs too. So we dim all our LEDs too.
I've got to compliment that texture on the wall there.
This is when Lara comes in and puts her touches in and sells that to the customer. Like I would have never been able to pick this out. Like make this room look so plush and so amazingly comfortable.
Now on those drawers, I really like that hardware.
And we're known for our hardware. I was in a show one day and the customer comes in and started counting doorknobs, and he says, you know how much money you have on this doorknobs? And I had no idea. He goes, you have about $5,000 in hardware. I'm about to pass out, but I had to play it cool. I'm like, of course, that's what we do. I came back to purchasing. I'm like, what are we doing?
To get to that $3 million number,
you got to do it.
Yeah, it adds up quickly. Now we grazed over this area, and this is a very cool beverage cabinet here. Yep. A different design. There's a lot of subtle touches that I'm seeing different, like this cutout with the face, with that mirrored face where those wine glasses go.
Yeah, and there's always a reason for everything. So if you look at this decanter, right, you see how I'll have to wiggle it out? It's lined, felt the line, so it doesn't rattle going down the road. Same thing with the glasses. These are crystal, right? Crystal, old crystal. Same thing with the stems. So when they are in there, they are steady. They're not going to be rattling going down the road, and we're not going to break.
And that's all real crystal?
All real crystal, yep.
You start spending money on hardware and crystal, you get to $3 million pretty quickly.
This is the level of detail that our customers deserve. I run into founders of companies, right? And they come in and they're humble and not flashy, they're workers. I feel immediate responsibility that these folks are in my building to obtain something that they have worked for, right? So my job is to give them the very, very, very best that I can because they've earned it. Someday, I want somebody to look at me and I walk in a room and say, that has been a hardworking man. He has done his job. I gotta take care of him and I gotta do my very best for him. I do that for my customers every single day. A-types, they're the AA types, they're the AAA types. It doesn't matter. I have to listen and I have to create. Now, today I'm doing a design on recliners. As we're doing this video, I did kind of sneak out, to do some phone calls, and we changed a design on some recliners like 3 times, right? Could be frustrating, but it's not. I gotta guide folks like that. They have earned. They are where they are and they're talking to me, so I gotta be humble about that and I gotta give them what they need. Now, this is a kind of detail. This is all computer router, and then we manually kind of just tweak it a little bit because not every piece of crystal is the same.
Really? Wow. Well,
yeah.
very clean. I like the style. I like the flow of it. I've seen different styles and different shapes of glass cabinets, but this is just very impressive.
Something that we missed and we didn't talk about right above you is a vent. A lot of customers, like this customer is going to cook, because we have an oven, so they literally want to cook. We didn't put a microwave, so we did some storage cabinets. So they're like, how do we get our fumes out of the coach? Well, there's a slide out here. We can't put a vent there. So we put a vent fan in the kitchen area that serves two purposes. In a nice day, you open some windows, you get some airflow going through there, and of course we can get our kitchen fumes out with no problem.
Well, and it's finished out so well that I didn't even notice there was a vent there just because it just flowed with the rest of the coach.
So, when you're talking about finished and not knowing that you're somewhere, can you tell me where the slide out starts and where the slide out ends?
Somewhere, I don't know, that's good.
Where does the slide out move?
Maybe right here, is that?
No. You see, here's the slide out.
Ah, okay, yeah. That was a lot. I was thinking either here or here.
Yeah,
but
right?
yeah.
So there's the slide out right there. Now, and not to talk about my competition or my other converter partners, there are amazing, innovators and things like that. I mean, they're just incredible people, right?
Anybody that can engineer a coach on this level, I have respect for.
You'd be amazed in this group of people that I work with, right, and compete with, right, in a friendly competition. We sit around a round table twice a year, and we throw jokes at each other. I mean, it's totally like what you do not expect. It's not an aggressive talk. We stand up for each other. When somebody's being bullied, we stand up for them. I'm not talking about my competitors, but I tell you that this is something that I started back in like 2003, and I'm waiting for somebody to pick it up and start doing it. Because I tell you, once you look at that room, you don't know where to slide out. There's no gap.
Just super clean. I definitely like your design on that. I think it's great that you have a relationship with the other converters.
Absolutely.
You guys are all sharpening each other.
And you never know when there's a need. So we are about the industry. Our converter partners, so Prevost, Steve Sigler especially, as the head of this group, right, has instilled in us that there is one industry. And there's 5 of us now, right? And this 5 of us are responsible to grow it and to maintain it, right? And we do that so well. And what I mean is, if, let's say, brand X has an issue and I can help, I am there. I am going to help. If I have an issue and they are there, they are going to help. So you'd be amazed on from the outside, you would think, these guys are cutting each other's throat. But, from the inside, it's a big party.
Well, all of you combined, I think there's way less than 100 coaches a year with everybody combined. And, like I just mentioned, to build a coach at this level of this product, I know we all want to be armchair quarterbacks and tell you, hey, you should do this better, you should do this better. But to actually engineer it, build it, and bring it to life, it's a whole different game.
I got you. But, my relationship with the rest of the converters is amazing. There's some better than others. But at the end, we can definitely sit down and we have a meal once a year. It's really a sight to see.
Well, now that you said, that you're friends with those guys, what are you doing better than those guys that they aren't doing?
You were getting to know me a little bit. I'm not a me guy. I can't just keep saying, I invented, I did, I'm created. I just started a company 24 years ago, and I surrounded myself with the best human beings that I could, the best hearted people, right? The people that I can train to be of service, and people that would show up, that wanted to do the right thing. And so I started with that, and then I trained them, right? The way that I knew, right? The best way that I knew, the way that it worked for me. So what do I have that they don't have is my people. Absolutely 100%, right? So I'm gonna start there. When I have to beat our people out of the bus, like, okay, we are done. This is finished. And they don't want to leave. I got another little tweak. I got another little thing. I got another. Not that I'm trying to shortchange it. It's that they're so connected to the product, right? Then she comes in, talking about Lara. And that's when everyone, when she comes in, you'd be amazed, everyone just calms down. Like the queen just came in, the mom just came in, dad just left here screaming, and now there she is. Everything is going to be okay. And that's when the coach is complete.
Well, in meeting your team members, I can definitely see how they are all striving for perfection. You've got an incredible team here that really carry themselves well, and I think that definitely plays into the finished product that we see here.
Yep. And and with having the best team in the world, and I preach that to them, every week. There's only 5 of us in the world, not just the country, in the world, right? So paint that picture, and you are the best of that team in the world. So you're the best in the world. That makes me the best in the world, right? And now I'm not being boastful, I'm being humble, right? Then we can go into Poplar, Lutron, the control system, Savant, RTI, inverters, batteries, the wiring, using the ABYC method of wiring the bus, having no losses over the past 24 years, the way that we bypass things, how we use off-the-shelf equipment to run our lithium batteries, how we do our CPO, how we answer our phone calls. There's another list that comes after that, but it would not be possible without the people to begin with.
Absolutely, yes, sir.
None of that would matter.
Yes, sir, absolutely.
There you go.
I know the viewers want to see more inside of this coach.
All right, so here's the super suite, and this one is what we call an aft bed, right? So the purpose here is that you bring the slide outs in, you will still have access to your drawers and your clothes going down the road. This is an open window, cabinets above the bed, a little contemporary lighting. It's another pocket door, electric pocket door in the back.
I really like the amount of living space. This super suite is huge back here, but we've got closet space here. Again, very well lit, safe in there. And then I'm assuming more closet space over here.
Absolutely.
So his and hers, whichever one is bigger, the wife's gonna get, but some good wardrobe here in the bedroom. Nice deep drawer space here.
Yeah.
Now I wanna close this door here.
Yep.
I'm assuming there's gonna be a full-length mirror on this side?
It will be. Now you see this little handle?
Yes, sir.
Because if you're on that side, you really don't need to get out. You don't need to get in here. You're going to be out the door. When you're on this side, you have a handle to open.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, just in case of an emergency.
Yeah, there you go.
Really nice spot to get ready, change your clothes here. You got your full-length mirror and just plenty of room. And is this like a bench seating, like a nice spot to sit down and tie your shoes?
It is absolutely. But if you open it, right, you'll see shoe storage.
Nice.
So you get your shoes and you see how it's a soft close, right? And it's super padded, so it's absolutely the best place. One of the biggest complaints in a motorhome is, what do I do when I'm trying to get dressed, when 2 people are trying to get dressed at the same time? Back in the day, I used to go to the living room and get dressed, bring my clothes into the, kitchen, right? That is a good parking spot. I call them parking spots. This is another good parking spot. Out of the shower, the ladies, the guys.
Well, and with this super slide room here, I could probably, get ready in this area. If we close this door, is there another full-length mirror?
Absolutely.
And it's incredible how big this room is. Even with both doors closed, I'm not feeling claustrophobic. And again, I love the style of the wall panels and this lighting.
There was something with Lara when we started traveling together. It was on the 90-inch slide out. She always felt claustrophobic, right? Until we went to the big room.
Yes, sir. And this is a full king-size bed?
Full king. So we don't play with the sizes of beds. This is a full king because they have their own mattresses and their own We don't have to modify every single one. This is a 76 by 80, so any sheet will work.
What's below the bed?
We have a subwoofer below it, and then we have some of the, not electronics, but connections. Nothing much going there because we have a lot of moving parts, with the slide out. So there's a drawer right underneath the bed. Every piece of equipment that is electronics is downstairs. So there's nothing behind cabinets, underneath beds, or behind, door panels. I don't have to remove my clothes from the closet to reset our satellite receiver.
Well, and when you need to repair something, you don't have a technician having to come into the coach and climb around.
100%. Not that is a bad thing, but it is a bad thing.
Yes, sir.
If I can stay in the garage, which is the bay, that's what I'm going to be. Shade buttons, like back here, I'm just going to open. See how quiet they are? They're Lutron. You can't even tell that they're running, and they're full blackout in the front. Now, these windows are painted with the window film. You see out, but you can't see in. The paint scheme goes right through the window. I've been doing that since 2002.
That perforated vinyl is a game changer.
Oh, it's been amazing.
Now, this is something else that I don't think I've ever seen. I'm assuming there's a TV that folds down here?
There is. The customer wanted both. They wanted a TV, but also wanted a window. right? So what do? We put a TV lift right in. So this TV will fold down, and then of course the speaker system. We use Sonos throughout. We also ended up with some storage on either side of the TV.
Oh, very cool. I like the different cameras.
Yeah, so that's a camera recording. This TV lift comes from a marine engineer down in Jupiter. And I have never used anything other than his product. It's meant to go on a yacht, so there's not a lot of rattles, there's not a lot of squeaks.
Extremely clean, clear video footage. I mean, that is just crisp.
We're using high definition cameras too.
That's not your normal security cameras. That's like the cameras we're using here.
Yeah, this is high definition. And remember, this is being recorded the whole time. We can select to just watch one or watch two. Obviously, we have some extra room. Like the next coach is going to have 4 cameras in the trailer. We tied to that. The recording part of it is really what's cool, that I can go back into and I can see, what happened to, around my coach.
For an accident, I actually had someone, I was sitting at a stoplight and someone backed into me.
No kidding.
And I mean, luckily he was honest, but I didn't have any recording of it. And basically it looked like I rear-ended him, but it was it was literally a semi truck backed into a little car. But it looked like I ran into the back of him, and there was nothing, without video, there was nothing I could do.
Yeah, so. Video is the thing now. I mean, you have to have video. We had a customer where a truck actually came and on purpose hit the coach and claimed that it was them. And if it wasn't for video, they would have gotten ticketed and a big mess.
Insurance claims.
Yeah, but he was right there on the spot. He was able to download. The deputies come with their own memory stick. Show me your DVR, and they could not believe it. You got a DVR on the bus? Yes. Let me show you. They knew what to do. So it was incredible.
Really like that you're doing that. I think a lot of bus owners are going to really appreciate that.
Yeah, we call it the iSecure.
Now, even with this huge rear bedroom, we still have a really good-sized rear bathroom back here.
Yeah, so we like to divide rooms, right? Every time you keep walking in the bus, you want to feel like you're somewhere different, even though you're still in this 45-foot space, right? We want you to feel different, from the lighting to the finishes to the wall textures to the countertops, maybe some of the softness of the bedding, that kind of stuff.
And the first thing that really catches my eye back here is the design on the shower. And I like that there's a slight curve and then waterfall style shower head there. Does that come right out of the ceiling? I'm trying to understand the engineering. What's all going on back here in the shower?
This is a rear shower. So we are friends of gravity. From there, it goes straight to our tank. There is no in-between connections anywhere. When we did that, we also raised the ceiling, not the bus, but we kind of kept everything tight up this way. So you have a little lip right here. This ceiling and this ceiling are 2 different heights. So when you walk in there, you yourself, you're a tall guy, you'll be able to fit on that.
Let me give it a try. I'm 6'2".
All right, so let's go.
And there's definitely a step up, but this tile work is incredible. Almost a mosaic style
It
tile.
is. That's a piece of artwork. So the guy that's installing that, Lara comes out, does the drawing. Well, she has a team, right? So the team does the drawing. She has to lay it out. You should see the kitchen tile that we just put in our house. She goes, we needed something else. She calls me honey, but she goes, we needed something, hon. We can't just be all blah. We need a loud piece.
There's definitely a time and a place for it, and this shower is the right place to really bring that. It's a different feeling when we came into that back room just because of the tile work here. And then I'm seeing this huge shower head, which I can stand up totally straight here. And then we've got extra shower heads.
Body sprayers, soap caddies with the lights, again, a lot of lighting.
Yes, sir, and with that same tile backsplash in the soap caddies as well.
So the details at that point. Now remember, we're building for somebody that has worked their butts off to get something that is nice. So, I mean, that right there has to happen. It's difficult, it's hard to do. We lose sleep, we have meetings about walls like this, right? But at the end, somebody like you comes in that can appreciate that kind of quality.
All of those little details really take it to another level.
When you're in that shower, you just forgot that you're on a 45-foot commercial bus. This is a commercial bus that takes people from point A to point B in safety and comfort. and you're in a shower that carries 2 people.
I feel like I'm in the Ritz-Carlton right now. You could probably, I think you could probably shower 2 people in here pretty comfortably.
You know, so that's our water saver. That's what I said. It's built for 2. So yeah, that's what that rain shower is for. We're gonna save some water, and we're gonna get both people in there.
Beautiful design, and I would call this an accent wall because the tile work is so cool. It's like an accent wall.
And they're all unique, you know. So everybody wants to be different, and we want different. We want to be able to push our limits too when it comes to design and it comes to fit and function. When we do something like that, you know, there's some criteria. Can we design it? Yeah, absolutely. We designed it. Can we build it? Yeah, you know, that checks a yes. All right. Can we service it? If something breaks, can I replace something? Yes. And can we sell it? Absolutely. Right. So all 4 check marks, we're good to go.
Talking about those little details, I love the decor pieces that Lara used back there. But also, is this sink underlit? I love that.
Absolutely. So the sinks are backlit, and if, you know, you'll get a little bit more appreciation by seeing it in the dark, right? So that's on and that's off. The mirror is anti-fog, but it's also, you know, a backlit mirror. Any kind of light, any circuit here, we can control differently or together. Remember scenes, I can say, you know, if I hit this button, I want the sink light on, I want everything else off, I want the kitchen, you know, lights on, I want, you know, so we can work the scenes as needed.
You can throw on romance mode and it kicks on some Barry White or something.
I tell you that we had a way button, and it was for the cat, and the cat needed to have the passenger shade up at station tuned to Pandora at this station, and the bedroom lights on. Temperature is important with pets, so everybody wants to know what the temperature is reading inside, and we have alarms for that too. So
whatever your clients want to set it at, you've got them covered.
Totally.
Awesome.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. I tell you, at home I call it mood lighting.
So we have a bidet toilet here.
Yeah, bidet toilet. The toilet itself is a headhunter, right? So it's a standard toilet with the 2 different flushes. Sounds crude, but it's not. Front end wash, rear end wash. You can control pressure, control temperature, seat temperature. You can have it into a self-purging mode. So once in a while, it just says, you know, nobody's been in it. Let me just kind of clean myself out, and you know, it does it all itself. It is one of those features that once we figured it out, we have never stopped. You know, and very seldom do we have somebody that doesn't like it, and that's because they haven't tried it.
That's what I've heard. I haven't tried one yet myself, but I hear about it over and over.
You'll never go back.
That's what I hear. Now I have to compliment that indirect lighting and then beautiful tile work up that side of that wall.
So we like to bring this stuff up the walls. Us guys sometimes we're a little messy, so we want to be able to keep it durable.
Clean it up easy. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? And everything here, again, can we build it, or can we design it? Can we service it? That's an important one. So those are the destructive testing that we talk about. Yeah, we can design it. Anybody can pick anything, but can we service it? Once we build it, once it's done, can we service it, right? Yeah, we can build it. We can probably do anything. Now, this floor heat in this area is separate from the main part of the bus. Most times, you would want your bathroom, where you are most likely naked and wet, to be a little warmer than your bedroom, right? And this is, again, another good landing zone to get out of the shower and have enough room to dry off and just get ready for the day.
Yes, sir, absolutely. Well, Nelson, I really appreciate you showing us around this amazing motor coach. Now, if someone wants to custom order a new Millennium coach or purchase one of the pre-owned Millenniums out there, who should they contact?
I'm always here, so you know, my cell phone is on the website. You can go to mlcy.com. There is an inquiry form there, a contact form. Just pick up the phone and call us. We're online. We're ready to answer.
Awesome. Well, Nelson, I've been a fan for a long time.
Well, we are too.
Really appreciate the opportunity to spend this much time with you today and share all of this with the viewers. Can't thank you enough, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for an amazing day of really revisiting my product.
Yes, sir. I'm really excited to see what the viewers have to say about this coach. We appreciate all of the comments. I know Nelson's going to be reading those.
Oh, absolutely.
Can't thank all of you enough for watching and subscribing. We hope you're all having a great day. Thanks again.
Thank you.